Soft snow lingers on distant mountaintops. In serene ancient parks, deer bow gracefully to passers-by. Narrow canals weave through traditional towns, their waters shimmering under the afternoon sun. Near the base of Mount Fuji, a warm bowl of soba is served, topped with wasabi freshly grated by hand, just as it's been for generations. This is not the version of Japan found on glossy brochures or rushed group tours. It's the Japan hidden just beyond the crowds, peaceful, authentic, and deeply human. For anyone seeking a Japan travel guide that goes beyond the basics, this journey uncovers what truly makes a Japan trip unforgettable. Forget the packed bullet trains and the sea of selfie sticks in Shibuya. This is a deeper kind of Japan travel, one that embraces slow mornings, hidden villages, and quiet discoveries. A journey where tradition isn't preserved in museums, but woven into the rhythm of everyday life. It's the kind of Japan that stays with you long after you've left. This is more than an itinerary. It's a personal path through the country's most intimate corners, the route a family took beyond the usual golden route to find the heart of the real Japan. Let's begin a journey meant for curious first-timers, slow travelers, and families alike. Anyone longing for a different kind of Japan trip, one full of wonder, warmth, and the beauty of the everyday. 1. Osaka, gateway to flavor and fun. There's something magnetic about Osaka. It's loud in the most lovable way, full of neon signs, sizzling street food, and that famously friendly Kansai hospitality. For families visiting Japan for the first time, starting in Osaka is like diving straight into the cultural deep end, but with a soft, tasty landing. The city's heartbeat is Dotonbori, a canal-side street bursting with giant animatronic signs, laughter, and the mouth-watering smell of takoyaki. While it might seem chaotic at first glance, this place radiates joy. Parents, even those a little shy about big crowds, often find themselves swept up in the energy, taking selfies beneath the Glico-man, or happily trying octopus balls from tiny street vendors. But Osaka has layers. On the quieter side, there's Tadao Ando, the iconic architect who calls Osaka his hometown. For those interested in modern Japanese design, his spaces are like peaceful sanctuaries hidden in plain sight. One of the most charming examples is the children's book forest in Nakanoshima. It's not just a building, it's a conversation between architecture and imagination. Grandparents and children alike find something enchanting here. Choosing where to stay in Osaka matters. One excellent option is a hotel right next to Osaka Station, a major transport hub. That way, day trips become effortless, and navigating the city is a breeze. The Hotel Granvia, or Hotel Hankyu Respire, both offer prime locations without compromising comfort. If there's time, take a walk in the early morning along the Tosabori River. It's a completely different Osaka, quiet, misty, and lined with cherry trees in spring. 2. Nara, a peaceful encounter with Japan's sacred side. Just under an hour from Osaka lies Nara, a former imperial capital and spiritual cradle of Japanese civilization. And yet, despite its historical significance, Nara remains gentle and unhurried, perfect for travelers seeking calm. The first thing people notice? The deer. Over 1,000 of them roam freely in Nara Park, considered sacred messengers of the gods. Approach one with a bow, and you might get a courteous nod back. It's these small moments that make Nara feel magical, like a children's storybook brought to life. But the park offers more than charming wildlife. The Ukimido Pavilion, a serene hexagonal structure floating on a reflective pond, offers one of the most peaceful scenes in the Kansai region. Sit there for a few minutes, especially in the late afternoon, and time seems to pause. Nearby, in Naramachi, traditional machiya townhouses have been preserved and restored. These narrow, deep wooden homes give visitors a rare glimpse into how merchants lived centuries ago. Some now serve as cafes, small galleries, or museums, perfect for wandering at a relaxed pace. Unlike Kyoto, where tourist crowds can make traditional districts feel staged, Naramachi feels lived in, a quiet slice of everyday history. What's particularly nice about Nara is that it rarely feels rushed. Whether it's feeding deer, enjoying a slow lunch of kakino hazushi, sushi wrapped in persimmon leaves, or just strolling through mossy temple grounds, everything unfolds at a human rhythm. That makes it especially suitable for older travelers or multi-generational families. 3. Shiga Prefecture, floral slopes and tranquility. The road trip officially begins as we leave Nara and head into Shiga Prefecture, a region often overshadowed by its glamorous neighbor, Kyoto. But Shiga is where the real surprises start. Driving into Biwako Valley, visitors are greeted with slopes that change dramatically with the seasons. In winter, it's a snow lover's paradise, but come spring and summer, the slopes transform into vibrant flower fields with sweeping lake views. It's quiet, colorful, and photogenic without the Instagram crowds. The real star here, though, is Lake Biwa. As Japan's largest freshwater lake and one of the oldest in the world, Lake Biwa is more than just a body of water. It's a place of stories, rituals, and deep cultural resonance. Locals come here to fish, pray, and reflect. A fantastic base for exploring this area is the Lake Biwa Prince Hotel, located in Otsu, right at the southern tip of the lake. The rooms offer expansive lake views, and if you're lucky, you might even be upgraded to a higher floor for sunrise panoramas. But it's not just the scenery that impresses. The hotel's breakfast buffet is often a hit, especially with older travelers. It blends both Japanese and Western options and serves them with a backdrop of shimmering water. In fact, enjoying breakfast on the 37th floor while the morning mist slowly lifts from the lake might become one of the highlights of the trip. Shiga is also a great example of why renting a car can change the way you experience Japan. It opens up pockets of countryside that most tourists never reach, places where wildflowers bloom quietly, and the only soundtrack is the rustling of trees and distant temple bells. 4. Gujo Hachiman. Crystal waters and quiet streets nestled in the Gifu Prefecture, the town of Gujo Hachiman is a place that truly feels like stepping back in time. Unlike Japan's famous cities that constantly buzz with modernity, Gujo is slow, quiet, and deeply connected to water, not just physically, but culturally and spiritually. The moment visitors enter the town, they're struck by the canal system that flows like veins through its charming streets. These waterways are impeccably clean, so much so that historically, locals used them to wash vegetables and even do laundry. Even today, small wooden platforms by the water still remain, quietly reminding visitors of the town's traditional way of life. In these canals, koi fish swim lazily beneath stone bridges, their scales glinting in the sun. Children and tourists alike can't resist stopping to watch them, toss a few fish pellets, or admire their vibrant colors as they flash by. Gujo is also known for a surprising modern-day claim to fame: food sample replicas. You know those hyper-realistic plastic dishes displayed outside restaurants in Japan? Many of them are made right here. Visitors can even try their hand at making tempura or parfait replicas in hands-on workshops, a lighthearted and creative activity that's perfect for kids or curious adults. Though the town is usually quiet on weekdays, it becomes lively during weekends and holidays, especially in the summer when the Gujo Odori Dance Festival takes over. For over 400 years, people have gathered in the streets here to dance, sometimes all night long. It's not a performance, but a participation. Everyone is welcome to join, and that welcoming spirit is exactly what makes Gujo so unforgettable. 5. Shirakawa Go. Thatched roofs and timeless traditions. From Gujo, the road winds deeper into the mountains until it arrives at one of Japan's most iconic and photogenic villages, Shirakawa Go. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this village is famous for its gasho zukuri farmhouses, traditional homes with steeply pitched thatched roofs that resemble two hands pressed together in prayer. These roofs aren't just beautiful, they're practical too. Built without nails, They're engineered to withstand heavy snowfall during harsh alpine winters. Even with its fame, Shirakawa Go maintains a humble, lived-in atmosphere. Families still reside in these centuries-old houses, some of which open their doors to visitors as museums, guest houses, or tea shops. There's a powerful contrast here: deep silence and visual richness. You might hear the rustling of leaves, the creak of wooden floors, or the chirping of birds echoing off the hillsides. And that's all. For the full experience, it's best to spend the night. As evening falls, most tourists leave on their buses, and the village takes on a completely different character: misty, peaceful, and softly lit by lanterns. It feels like time has folded in on itself. But fair warning, Shirakawa Go is getting more popular each year. Arriving early or outside peak seasons makes a huge difference in how personal and immersive your visit will feel. It's not just a stop for a photograph. It's a living museum that asks for attention and respect. 6th Takyama. Edo-era ambiance. Without the crowds, just an hour from Shirakawa Go by car lies Takyama, a mountain town that's often described as a quieter Kyoto, and for good reason. It has the same traditional charm, but without the intense foot traffic or commercial overpolish. The highlight here is the Sanmachi-Suji district, a small grid of streets lined with beautifully preserved Edo-period wooden townhouses. These buildings, some over 300 years old, house sake breweries, miso shops, antique stores, and artisan studios. The smell of cedar and soy sauce lingers in the air, blending with the sweet scent of grilled mochi or fresh Hita beef skewers from open front shops. Speaking of food, Hita beef is the regional specialty, a marbled, melt-in-your-mouth delicacy that locals take great pride in. For something truly unique, try beef sushi served atop crispy rice crackers, topped with wasabi or soy jelly. It's a taste that surprises and delights. Even the coffee here is memorable. One hidden gem is Ember, a modern cafe tucked into a traditional house in the heart of the old town. Sitting there with a latte and pastry while watching people stroll by in yukata is surreal. A blend of past and present that captures the spirit of Takayama perfectly. Takayama also makes a convenient base for exploring the surrounding region. Many tour buses pass through here, so even if you're not driving, it's easy to join local excursions to nearby historical towns or scenic routes. And if you happen to wake early, the morning markets along the river are a must-see. Locals set up stalls selling fresh produce, mountain vegetables, handmade crafts, and steaming cups of amazake, a sweet, non-alcoholic sake traditionally enjoyed warm. Takayama isn't flashy, but it lingers in the memory. It's where history whispers instead of shouts, and that quiet beauty is exactly what makes it so appealing, especially for travelers who want more than a checklist of tourist stops. 7. Nakasendo Trail and Magome-Tsumago. Time travel in the mountains. There's a moment, walking through the misty cobbled streets of Magome, when the present seems to slip away entirely. The air smells of cedar, the sound of footsteps echoes softly, and shopkeepers still call out gentle welcomes as they prepare fresh oyaki buns and handmade sweets. This is the charm of the Nakasendo Trail, a centuries-old highway that once connected Kyoto and Edo, modern-day Tokyo, through the Japanese Alps. Among the trail's best-preserved post towns are Magome and Tsumago, two places that have gone to great lengths to keep their Edo-era heritage intact. There are no power lines in sight, no neon signs, no modern cars driving through the town center, just lanterns, wooden inns, and the sound of running water in narrow stone gutters. These towns were once vital resting points for travelers, merchants, and samurai. Today, they offer a rare opportunity to step into their shoes, quite literally, by walking the roughly 8-kilometer section of the trail that connects the two. The path winds gently through cypress forests, rice terraces, and waterfalls, making it one of the most scenic and historically rich hikes in the country. Even without hiking, simply staying overnight in a ryokan in Magome or Tsumago is a magical experience. Rooms with tatami mats, meals featuring seasonal mountain cuisine, and the peaceful hush of towns that fall asleep early. It's the kind of tranquility modern life often forgets to offer. For families, especially those with an interest in history or nature, this part of Japan feels like a sacred pause, a place to breathe deeply and slow down. 8. Mount Fuji and the Five Lakes. Iconic Japan. Reimagined, no trip to Japan feels complete without seeing Mount Fuji. And yet, many travelers only catch a glimpse from the train window or a rushed stop at a souvenir shop. But this family adventure approached Fuji differently, slowly, deliberately, and from every possible angle. The Fuji Five Lakes region offers one of the most immersive ways to experience Japan's tallest mountain. Among these lakes, Lake Kawaguchiko is perhaps the most visited, thanks to its dramatic views, well-kept walking trails, and photogenic flower parks like Oishi Park. When the sky is clear, Fuji looms in the background like a dream, silent, symmetrical, and endlessly captivating. But visibility isn't always guaranteed. In fact, Mount Fuji is famously shy, often hidden behind clouds. That's why it's smart to spend several days in the area to increase your chances. The best seasons for viewing are winter and early spring, while summer tends to be the most elusive due to haze. Aside from scenery, the area offers a surprising amount of local flavor. One unforgettable stop is Shiraito Falls, a spiritual cascade fed by snowmelt from Fuji itself. The water trickles down a mossy cliffside in hundreds of silky threads, creating an atmosphere that's both sacred and soothing. What's fascinating is the geology. Water passes through layers of the new Mount Fuji, but gets stopped by layers of the old Fuji underneath, making it some of the purest groundwater in Japan. This region is also the heartland of real wasabi cultivation. Unlike the horseradish-based paste served in most restaurants, real wasabi is difficult to grow and requires pristine, cool-running water. At a local soba restaurant in the Izu Peninsula, guests can grate their own wasabi root with a shark skin paddle, a tactile, pungent, and surprisingly sweet experience. Eating soba noodles with freshly grated wasabi is an eye-opener. It's not fiery, but rather aromatic and clean. For coffee lovers, there's even more delight. The family accidentally stumbled upon a roadside Starbucks at a rest stop, which just so happened to have one of the most breathtaking Fuji views of any cafe in Japan. It's one of those moments that aren't in the guidebooks, the kind that makes a journey personal and unforgettable. 9. Tokyo. A brief, beautiful chaos. After the calm of mountains and small towns, arriving in Tokyo is like diving headfirst into organized chaos. It's fast, loud, and impossibly massive. And yet, somehow, it all works. Shibuya Crossing was a clear favorite, a whirlwind of humanity that seems to reset every 90 seconds. Watching it from above, or crossing it multiple times just for fun, never gets old. Another must-see was Team Lab Planets, a digital art museum where guests walk barefoot through glowing water, mirrored chambers, and interactive light installations. It's surreal and immersive, a place where even those who usually avoid museums walk out speechless. Tokyo may be overwhelming at first, but it rewards curiosity. Each neighborhood feels like its own world, from the neon noise of Akihabara to the calm back streets of Yanaka. And by the time you board the Shinkansen for the last leg of the journey, you realize Tokyo is less about seeing everything and more about feeling its rhythm. As the train glides into Tokyo Station and the doors slide open with their familiar chime, there's a sense of quiet accomplishment. This wasn't just a sightseeing trip. It was a family experience stitched together by shared meals, unexpected laughter, roadside detours, and quiet moments of awe, from the first bite of Hita beef to the misty mornings by Lake Biwa. Traveling with parents or older family members through Japan offers something profoundly special. It's a chance to connect across generations through food, culture, nature, and time itself. It's watching their eyes light up at things that have become everyday to some, but magical again when seen through their wonder. And if you've already done a family trip to Japan, or anywhere really, Feel free to share your stories in the comments below. The best part about travel isn't just where you go, but how you remember it and who you share it with. Thanks for joining this journey. Until next time, safe travels, and may your path always be lined with cherry blossoms.